Hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hi, Grace.
Thank you. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, welcome. As you're coming in and you're settling into the meeting, please add your name in the chat and please write down the most helpful application that's on your phone and what it does. Hello, welcome. I see people are still coming in. We're going to give it a minute or two, but please make sure you write your name in the chat and the most helpful application on your phone and what it does. Okay, I see Google Drive. I see Calendar. For me personally, I love, my name is Grace Canabidi and I work with MCAEL, and my favorite application is Genius Scan because you can use it to scan things and it automatically turns them into PDFs. Oh, I see Libby. I think that's the one that allows you to check out books, I think, virtually. Shazam. I love Shazam. Google Calendar. I see that you are all like me, who are very, very tied to their calendars. I understand that. Okay. Well, I'm gonna continue to monitor the chat while people get into the meeting, and I just wanted to say welcome and thank you for being here. Today's network meeting is on tackling digital literacy. Network meetings focus on non-ESOL related resources that are available in Montgomery County to equip program administrators and instructors with the knowledge to share and support the needs of their learners. So today in tackling digital literacy, you're going to be hearing about how to access refurbished computers, how to acquire some digital skills and more, as well as a chance to discuss digital literacy in small groups and then with the group as a whole. So before we get started, I want to acknowledge and thank my colleagues, Tiffany Ross, who's here, as well as Kayla Savoy. So thank you so much for being here. We always like to start the network meetings by highlighting a partner in the coalition. So just give me a second. I am pleased to introduce Reverend Megan Blanchard from the Anna A. Brito Foundation, who will be talking about the digital literacy program there. Reverend Megan Blanchard did her bachelor's in Spanish and a bachelor's in political science and a postgraduate she worked in finance and operations. And she is an ordained deacon of the Baltimore-Washington Conference of the United Methodist Church. Her call and passion are to serve in ministry areas and connect the church and the world and protect the vulnerable and serve the marginalized. She currently does this through her ministry as program manager at Epworth's Anna A. Brito Foundation in Gaithersburg, Maryland, and local church ministries at Fairhaven UMC in Darnestown, Maryland. Welcome. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Thank you. Thanks. It's good to be with you all today. If anybody's been in a MCAEL meeting with me in recent history, you know that I often bring my assistant with me. This is Emma in the background. So if you hear some chatter in the background, it's because she is here with me. But I am pleased to be with you, honored to be highlighted this week. And what I want to share is how our program, which is mid to small size program, is trying to engage this conversation around digital literacy. So I will share some images and pictures, a little bit about how we are tackling digital literacy in very bite-sized ways that could be done within different programs and across the county. So I will share my screen, and please somebody give me a yes or a thumbs up if you can see once I'm sharing. Can we see? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so this initial picture, I serve at Epworth's Ana Brito Foundation. So we are a foundation that works very closely alongside of Epworth United Methodist Church. We are right across from the new Aldi in Gaithersburg, right off of the 270, where 270 hits the intercounty connector. And that's where we are located out of the church here. And this first image that you see is a student setup from the front of the classroom. We have iterated on this program a handful of times just in the time that I've been here, which is about 1.5 years. And part of the beauty and the curse of digital literacy is it's always changing. That if you put some kind of syllabus on paper, by the time you get around to teaching it again the next time, a lot of those components have changed. And so it is a space where there is constant iteration and constantly evaluating what is it that students are wanting to learn and needing to learn. And that varies every single time you have a new set of students in the classroom. And that way, it's very similar to our English for speakers of other languages classes, because it does depend on who is in the classroom, what their knowledge and what their background is. So our classes do mirror very closely the schedule that we have for our English classes. We have 2 classes per week from 7 to 8:30 on Tuesday and Wednesday evenings. All of these classes are in person, and they're at our United Methodist Church location on Rosemont Drive. And the way that we have our classes and our registration set up mirrors the way that we are managing our ESOL program and schedule currently. And what I mean by that is when we open registration for English classes, we also open registration for computer classes. And when we don't have class for English classes, we don't have computer classes. So we try to run those things in parallel with one another. Our current instructors are Troy and Edgard. Troy is Filipino, a Filipino immigrant, 2nd generation, and Edgard is a 2nd generation immigrant as well. He is Spanish speaking. And so we have at times offered the class in Spanish and in English. And we are constantly going back and forth around if we do that and how we do that, and are continuing to look ahead of how we can do that, because having that instruction in a person's native language has been helpful in some instances, but recognizing that we are doing this in partnership, in collaboration with our English for speakers of other languages. In most recent history, we've leaned more heavily into only offering the class in English and trying to reduce the content down in a way that is understandable no matter what language you speak. Our current classroom setup looks a bit like this, as I showed in that initial title screen. That's a student's laptop. We have 15 individual laptops. They're very basic setup. They do not have Microsoft, because we've consciously made that decision to this point, because a lot of our students don't have access to Microsoft at home. So we've been teaching tools that they do have access to without an additional economic investment of purchasing the Microsoft suite. So teaching Google Docs, Google Sheets, and using materials that students, once they understand how to access them, would have at their disposal, regardless of whether they have those programs on their own devices. We also looked at, do we set up a computer with a mouse or without a mouse? And so we just used the touchpads, because we also found that students needed to learn how to use a touchpad. And so right now it's just simple laptop setup. They're stored in this little black case that's at the front of our classroom, and we have those in chargers on charging stations. And then at the front of the classroom, the teacher is connected to the internet and has a projection on the screen so that students can watch what the instructor is doing and follow along while they are doing that on their classroom. But the teacher can also go around the classroom person by person and work with students individually. As I mentioned, our registration, we currently have trimesters, a fall, winter, and spring session, and we have an online registration form. And in that registration form, we do ask students to respond with a little bit of their basic knowledge of what computer knowledge do they have. do they have their own laptop at home or do they not? And if they do, what type of computer is it that they have access to? Because if it's a Chromebook versus a Mac or a PC, then the instruction is different. And so trying to get information about the students that we have in the classroom in order to tailor that instruction towards who it is that's in the class. I'm happy to share our registration form and our surveys if that's something that you are interested in. So please contact me if you want those specifics, but I won't share all of those details now because I don't know who is interested in and who's not. I'm also going to share with you a screenshot of the sample syllabus that our current instructor is using. And I will say he started the year with this and he has modified as he goes, again, based on who's in the classroom. The primary focus as of late has been around email basics, helping students to set up an email, accessing their email on their phone, sending and drafting an email, figuring out how to copy and paste a picture that would go into the body of a message. And so it's been a bit of email basics, Google Docs and Google Sheets will be the next pieces, but what he's covered so far has been some about basic hardware. How do you access the internet when you have Wi-Fi available? And so I think our instructors have done a really fantastic and tremendous job of asking our students, what is it that you want to know and what do you want to learn? To be able to tailor their classroom content based around that. That's what I wanted to cover in terms of my presentation. Certainly want to open it for any questions that anyone has.
Thank you, Megan. There is one question already in the chat, and that question is, do you have the aggregated survey data? I would be interested, especially about who has computers, internet, and skill level.
Good question. I can get that pretty easily. We haven't done any significant data analysis of that at this point, but I can pull what we received and share that.
There is another question. What is the English level of your students in computer classes?
So part of why we are continuing to iterate around this is because it has been the entire array of English ability. Meaning when someone finds that we have computer classes, we get requests from people who are native English speakers, who are US citizens who are wanting to learn computer literacy, all the way to a very basic English learner. And so as any of you who have taught mixed language or mixed level classes know the challenge of that from an English instruction standpoint, that's also present in the computer literacy space. And so we are trying to figure out how to navigate that in this small scale program. And one of the ways we did that last semester was we had a basics class and we had an advanced class. And so we were able to group those two classes based on language proficiency, which often parallels, not always, often parallels with computer literacy as well. But again, those are kind of general assumptions that are not always true. I recognize that. And we're just trying to see how do we best meet the needs that we can within the constraints and the bounds of the resources that we have to do so. I hope that answers that question.
Yes, we have another question on how many students can participate / the class size.
So it is one of those, because it is 100% in person, we're constrained by the number of devices that we have and the number of seats that we have. So right now it's about 12 very good functioning laptops. There's always technical glitches, so we try to have a backup or two. But we have about a dozen seats available in our class. Right now our enrollment's really quite small. And that also it trends with our English class enrollment. It starts really high and then it tapers off as you get towards the end of the session. And so we're starting to look at, do we do enrollment simply based on topics? We offer a list of topics and here's when those dates of those teaching components are going to be offered. And people would sign up for those individual classes. So if you're interested in setting up an email, you would sign up for the email classes, but you're not interested in learning Excel, And so our enrollment, we're trying to figure out how do we structure the classes that help with that a little bit. But currently, I think we have 5 people in our classes.
Okay, we actually have a lot more questions in the chat, but we're going to move on to the next speaker. If you could maybe answer some of the questions in the chat, Megan, that would be great. Slash, I will be sharing the PowerPoint slash information after the meeting later this week. Okay. Thank you so much, Megan.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to share the next speaker is Sue Kim, and Sue Kim is the program manager at Montgomery College's Workforce Development and Continuing Education. She is the ITI program manager. She has a bachelor's in computer science and a master's in data analytics, and over 20 years of experience in IT as a programmer, manager, and instructor, with work that spans from government contracting to financial and academic sectors. And she has been with Montgomery College since 2019. And give me a second to make you I think you are already a co-host, actually. All right. Thank you so much, Sue.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Sue Kim. As been introduced, I'm a program manager at Montgomery College. We specialize in non-credit courses. And let me share screen. Okay. So we have 2 different avenue of courses. One is for people who are trying to learn how to use computer applications, and those who wants to get into IT field. So today I'll be focusing on how to use computers. So for people who are very new, we recommend taking the Mastering Windows Fundamentals course, and is going to go over basically how to use the computer. So people will purchase it. They may have used a little bit here and there, but many of them really don't know how to maneuver or use all the application within their computer, what came up with. And we have 2 sessions. Both sessions are in the evenings, and is also in person. People are squinting, so let me make it larger. Let's see. Okay, so this is a Mastering Windows Fundamentals course that I was referring to. After taking this class, what we recommend is taking the Microsoft Word and Excel Foundation. So here, people will learn how to use Word to create their documentation and use Excel to do some calculations if needed. Now, there are some people who want to get a job in an office, and definitely Microsoft Word and Excel is necessary, and depends on what kind of job they want to proceed. The Excel level, going from level 1 through level 3, are highly recommended. And once you are done with level 3, you are ready to take the MOS examination. That's a Microsoft Office System certification exam. There are other products, especially the Office, the virtual office management with Office 365. And this is dealing with the OneDrive, OneNote, talking about the email and the SharePoint team. Again, this is more advanced, but people who want to, again, a job will be needing this task. Now, I have done quick search, and we do have some Spanish classes given in Spanish. So it's either English or Spanish, but Spanish, not many. I have seen 2, level 1 and level 2. I don't speak Spanish, so I did a quick Google translation and it looks like this is the office management level 1 and level 2. We also have classes during the daytime. And this is for seniors specifically, but anybody can enroll. And because it's during the daytime, some people prefer this going to the senior-oriented class. And also they're a little slower pace is what I heard. We have computer skills set for beginners and then computer skills beyond beginners. I can post the link on chat a little bit later so that you can take a look at it. Again, the ITI courses starts on page 30. Now, all our classes, all the ITI classes, in class, we have computers there. So you don't have to worry about having access to computer or not. But if you do have access to computer, you're welcome to bring it in class and utilize it as well. Once you are an MC student, once you're registered, as an MC student, you have access to Office 365 for free. So you don't have to worry about purchasing the Word. You don't have to worry about extra costs. It's all part of a benefit of being an MC student. Let's see, as I said, let me share the link to the PDF that I was sharing. Any questions?
Please feel free to unmute yourself or put the question in the chat. I do have a question. I remember that Montgomery College used to have a pipeline from kind of beginner to if you wanted to go all the way to do cybersecurity or something like that. Is that still a thing?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Let me share. So this is what we call a roadmap. Depends on what is it that you want to do. Without a 4-year college degree, next thing that you need in order to get into IT field is experience, right? And the experience, in order to get the experience, we teach our students the knowledge as well as experience, and also prepare them for industry recognized certification exam. And once you have that certification, it's telling the potential employers that the topics, that you're ready to work in the field. So let's say cybersecurity, we have a cybersecurity here. As a cybersecurity specialist, if you are very new to IT, we recommend that you take IT Foundations course. Let me try to enlarge it again. So start with the IT Foundations class. It's a 6-hour course. Get your feet wet with the IT terminology, talking about the cloud, talking about the network, talking about computer hardware, software. Make sure that it is the field that you are interested in. After that, we recommend taking cybersecurity practitioner course. This is longer course, 100 hours. I believe 24 sessions, so 72 hours in person with the instructor, and the rest of them 28 hours asynchronous, meaning you're practicing on your own. So you're gaining the knowledge that is necessary to do the work, as well as to pass the exam, as well as get a hands-on experience through virtual lab exercises. If you feel you need a little more help passing the exam, then we offer Security Plus certification exam prep course. It's shorter, 42 hours, but without the cybersecurity practitioner course, taking Security Plus certification exam prep course is going to be a waste of time, waste of money, because you won't have the background knowledge. But for people who are either studied elsewhere or are working with cybersecurity related, you just need extra help passing the exam, we recommend that course. So we have a different stepstone, depends on where it is that you want to go to. So if you have a question, do give me a call or send me an email, sue.kim@montgomerycollege.edu, and I'll be happy to answer your question.
Thank you, Sue. There are other questions. Does MC loan laptops to students if they do not have a computer at home?
I believe it's very, very limited. It's offered by library, but I wouldn't rely upon it. As I said, all our computer-related courses are in classroom equipped with computers.
And we will be addressing kind of accessing computers in a little bit later. But another question that I see is, I think you answered the questions about IT certificate programs, but do they help with the job placements?
Absolutely. What employers are looking for is really experience. They need to hire somebody who can do the work they want, right? And without a college degree, and sometimes even with the college degree, depends on your program, you may not have the necessary hands-on experience. But having a certification is the third company who is performing the test. And it's an industry recognized company called CompTIA. So if you are certified from CompTIA, everybody who is in the industry knows that whoever the candidate who has a CompTIA certification knows the material. So they may need no training or minimum training compared to someone who doesn't have the certification.
And I think one of the last questions is, are there any scholarships for computer classes at MC?
Scholarships right now are due with the credit side, I believe. However, there is, if you could go to montgomerycollege.edu/techmap, there's a TechMap grant given by US government. And it provides, you need to apply and you need to be accepted according to their standard. I'm not really familiar with the standard. You can go to their website to find out more. But if you are chosen to be in the program, then they will help you with the training, they will help you with the resume writing, they will help you with the mock interviews, eventually help you get a job through their program.
Okay, thank you so much, Sue. If you could drop that link in the chat, that would be great.
Yeah,
And
it's done.
all right, thank you so much, Sue. All right. So our next, let me just share my screen. Okay. So our next speaker is Maria Guisbert, who holds a master's degree in human resources from the University of Maryland University College. She is an outreach coordinator at Phoenix Computers. She is currently an IT computer fundamentals instructor with the Community Engagement and Consultation Group and is pursuing a cybersecurity career pathway at Montgomery College with a passion for digital inclusion. Maria teaches bilingual computer fundamental classes to underserved communities. She helps bridge the digital divide for those that are most in need, and she is committed to empowering individuals through technology and education. Phoenix Computer is an all-volunteer organization, and Maria is helping the group to reach a wider community that can benefit from their offerings. So I am going to stop sharing my screen and pass things on to her. Give me 1 second to pin. All right. Welcome. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Grace. I appreciate the opportunity, and thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. As you said before, my name is Maria, And Maria Gisbert, I'm from Bolivia. I am bilingual. I graduated from University of Maryland with a master's in human resources, and I'm excited to be here today to tell you a little bit more about Phoenix Computers. Phoenix Computers is a nonprofit organization where we are able to refurbish computers. So if your organization have computers that they are not using anymore, they can be donated to our organization. It was founded around 12 years ago by Jim Smith. Unfortunately, he is not longer with us, but his legacy continue with the whole team. We're approximately 25 volunteers, uh, passionate with technology, refurbishing computers, using any peripherals, and provide to the community. So basically what we do is after the computers are being donated to us, we refurbish them. We change, if we have to change the CPUs, RAM memories, monitors. We test the volume of the computer. We test the keyboards. We test the whole computer. And then we are able to provide computers to, as you mentioned before, to the ones that are, they can't afford a computer. So I am one of the outreach coordinators, and I would like to tell you guys that it will be very much appreciated if we can collaborate with Phoenix in many ways. One would be the donation of computers. Another way that the community can be able to collaborate with us is by volunteering. We accept volunteers. And also we sell the computers. When we're selling the computers, of course, we sell it for a very affordable price. Some of the computers are for like $50, $75, $120, very, very affordable. And then, so if you also would like to volunteer, you can come and apply and volunteer with us. I am one of the volunteers, so I'm excited to be here today. And if you have please any questions, just let me know. I am also, as Miss Kim was saying, I am part of Montgomery College. I was accepted to the, yes, I'm excited. I was accepted to the cybersecurity pathway program. And with that, I'm excited because I can collaborate with the community. I was able to, I am working as a computer instructor as well with a nonprofit organization. And I was able to have my nonprofit organization to pay for 20 computers for my students, because my students are, were not able to obtain the computers. So Phoenix Computers, they were able to get the computers, and I was able to communicate with all of them and just making sure that the community is able to have a computer, especially nowadays that it's a little hard to get, the computers are expensive. And that's exactly what we do. Do you have any questions?
I'm going to start out. Could you talk a little bit more about the referral program? I see Marie Riolene. Let me get you right after this. I know that you need to have a referral. Can you talk a little bit more about how that works, or if organizations can become an organization that refers?
Yes, definitely. Yes. You can be a referral by having a SNAP, SSI, SSDI, Medicaid, and WIC, or housing vouchers. So if you are a recipient of those, you can come over and make sure you have the referral from your organization, and you can get the computers through that. Then, of course, the organizations that are going to be referred will have to be a nonprofit organizations. So that's basically how it is.
Marie Yolene, I know that you had a question. Oh, you're on mute. Okay, great. Oh,
Come on. Okay. Yes, I have one of the that was given for me by the library. But the question I'm having is about I have one problem with it, and I don't. It's not. That's the only thing I have. But I have a problem that I work at with the ESL program with Jessup, and for some reason, I was not able to connect to Montgomery County. I don't know if it's a block there is on the computer or something, but for some reason, I was not able to get connection of it. And I'm trying to find how to get some help on that to find out what is the real problem with the computer or what.
Well, maybe you have to, well, we just refurbish computers, we sell it, we provide to the ones that are referred by the nonprofit organizations. Probably I will say you need an antivirus, I want to say, or maybe you have to check your computer. We unfortunately do not fix computers for just everybody. That's not what we do, unfortunately. We just refurbish and if you are recipient of SNAP or SSI or SSDI or Medicaid, you can just get a computer. The computers right now, are selling the Windows 10 for around like $30, $40, if I'm not wrong. So if you're still struggling with your computer, it would be great to just get another one. If that's the case,
No,
if you
no, what I'm saying, I
otherwise
could use it for any other thing. What I'm saying that I could use it for any other program, but I'm saying if I'm in
Okay.
Montgomery County facility, for example, I'm in
Oh,
Montgomery County School, I'm not
Oh,
able to Wi-Fi of Montgomery County. That's what I'm saying.
I can answer that question.
oh.
That is a county feature. The county, the schools and county buildings block certain websites. So that is just across everybody. Anybody that enters a county building or a Montgomery County Public Schools, if you are trying to access certain, you're on their Wi-Fi, if you're trying to access certain websites, you are not going to be able to get on them because they block certain
Oh.
websites. Yeah. So
I'm
unfortunately,
glad you
there's
shared
not
this
really a
with
way around
me.
that. Yeah, there's not unfortunately a way
Okay.
around that. Thank you. I do see
Okay. Thank you so
another.
much for the help. Yes.
I'm sorry. This is Mitzi here from Montgomery County. I just want to let people know there are much fewer restrictions if you are using computers at the library. And the library has, because the library is not an educational environment. So I just wanted to let people know if that becomes an issue, that might be another alternative.
Thank you. I do see a request to put your email in the chat, and I also see another question about, is your organization for only Montgomery County residents?
No, it's not for only, Maryland residents. It's for Maryland, Virginia. And as long as you are part of the SNAP or one of those, programs, you're welcome. We are just trying to, help the community. That's the purpose of the organization.
Thank
And yes, I
you.
am typing it down right now, about my email address and my information.
Thank you so much. I also have a question about, where is Phoenix Computers located? How can students buy the computer? And do they go in person or fill something out online?
Yes, I'm gonna send let me see, I'm just trying to type it, the email address, also the address of the organization, the phone number, and as well as my phone number. So if you need me, you can just contact me. We are open only 2 days a week since we are all volunteers, Mondays and Wednesdays from 10 to 4. We have not only computers, desktops, laptops, we also have headphones. We also have printers. We also have cables, any kind of cable that they needed. We also have cameras. We have plenty of peripherals that you needed. So it's not only computers that we offer, that we sell. And as long as you have the referral, you're good to go. But you need your referral. Make sure that your organization provide you with the referral. I'm gonna type it in a minute, the email address where you can reach out to us. So if you have more questions, I'll be there. I'll be there Wednesday, starting this coming Wednesday, and Mondays. I'll be there every single day from 10 to 4 if you need me.
Okay, great. I'm just gonna go over 2 more questions and then we'll move on. So the next question is, what if it is a recently immigrated family or undocumented, so that they don't have SNAP, SSI, etc., or work for Head Start. But they're all low income families with young kids. Do they have referrals from other, do they take referrals from other agencies?
No, as far as I know, just the agencies that I mentioned. I'm pretty sure they probably have WIC or the housing vouchers. So if they can provide with something, it will be great. Yeah, otherwise you just contact me. I'll be there. You can call me. It's okay. We can find out a way to help.
And then
Mhm.
the last question is, did you say that you teach computer literacy classes? Can you talk about that?
I'm sorry, Karo.
The
Oh,
question
I
is,
hear you.
okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, it says, did you say that you teach computer literacy classes? Can you talk about that?
Oh, yes. I work for community engagement, CECG. Can you hear? I hope so you can hear me. My internet connection is not working very well.
Yes.
I work for community engagement and consulting group as a computer instructor. My classes are bilingual. So most of my students are adults, and they are learning English. But because I am capable of speak two languages, I make sure that my students are able to learn computers in Spanish and English. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you so much, Maria. I know that you have a lot of things that you're going to put in the
Sorry.
chat. And I think that was the last
Yes.
question. So
My
thank you so
internet is
much.
my internet is not working very well right now. Sorry
It's
about that.
okay. If someone could, I'm just gonna unpin you, and thank you so much, Maria. So, we're actually going to switch gears. We are going to actually, I'm going to put you in breakout rooms, and we're going to have a group discussion. So, you're going to be answering these two questions in your groups. The first question is, what are you currently doing or seeing others do to incorporate digital literacy in adult ESOL? And the second thing is, what is one thing that you would take from today to incorporate into your program or instruction? So I am going to, my colleague Tiffany is going to set you up into, excuse me, those breakout groups, and we will have about 7 minutes in the breakout rooms to discuss these questions, and then we're going to bring you back in for 4 to 5 minutes just to share out. So while you're speaking in the breakout rooms, pull out 1 or 2 points that you would like to share with the group as a whole. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to put these questions in the group chat, in the chat. All right, those are the questions, and Tiffany will give us a thumbs up when we're good to go. Okay, you are going to be prompted to go into your breakout rooms, so enter your breakout rooms. Welcome back, welcome back. Gonna give it maybe 10 more seconds because I want to say I think everybody's back. Okay, I hope you guys had a great discussion. I wanted to start out by giving you an example of how MCAEL does some digital literacy, incorporates them. Some of you may know MCAEL provides has a community learning groups that we do, which are short 9-week classes that we do to help provide confidence and feed learners into the larger ESOL network. And a way that we practical way we do digital literacy is by having a digital literacy presentation in the middle or at the end of the class, where we show people how to use the computer, but through the lens of having them sign up for or register for a class. So it's kind of like a practical way, a skill that they're going to need after they finish the 9-week class, but also allowing them to learn how to research or find different things. And so that's an example of how we do that. So the first question again is, what are you currently doing or seeing others do to incorporate digital literacy in adult ESOL? please feel free to raise your hand or unmute yourself if there's not too much conflict, and answer that question. Talk about what your group said. Okay. All right, Marie. Marie Yolene?
Well,
Yes.
yes, what I did share with my group is about Cambridge. I work with Fairland at the moment, and then elementary school, and we are able to. They have us and not in the school building, but outside. And then so because of that, we this program, the ESO program, there have is able to use the board computer, and that's a board computer, and also with the small computer. But the book of they use Cambridge One Basic. That's what we're using, and Cambridge you're able to hear listening from the computer to the board, and you'll be able to see the book itself. That's the way they use it for literacy there. And that's why I was able to share with them. But I found out that we have on my situation is that the computer that I'm using myself, my own personal computer, I have a blockage on it. I'm not able to go Wi-Fi Montgomery County. And whereas Montgomery County already had give us another computer, we used that computer. We able to get the connection. We didn't have no sound. So that's our situation. Yes.
Oh yeah, sometimes the digital literacy comes with technical issues while you're trying to do it. Thank you so much for sharing. I see Megan, your hand is up.
Yeah, thanks. So in our group, we were group 9 and I was in there with Brooklyn. And we talked about how accessibility is a part of this conversation and not just from a hardware standpoint. So she pointed out like I shared a little about this in our classrooms, but how those Google tools are accessible no matter where you are and who you are. So leaning on tools such as that are accessible no matter your resources. I also talked a little about, and I might be stealing Chris's comments if he's going to weigh in here, in a prior conversation we had at another network meeting about the importance of kind of integrating digital literacy into different places in the classroom. So finding those small ways that you could teach in the classroom to write an email, or like finding a way to show that you could access the Google Drive. I'm not giving great examples of that, but that in the classroom itself, there could be those practical exercises that if we don't intentionally address it in our classrooms, that gap's just going to continue to widen. But that no matter what you're teaching, it doesn't have to be the set aside class of digital literacy, but you can integrate it into the classroom as well. And then one of the sort of outstanding questions that we wanted to pose to this larger group is when you're engaging with people around this topic of digital literacy, how you found ways of doing that in concise ways and not getting overly wordy, especially when you're trying to talk with someone who speaks a different language. So are there tools or resources out there that you have found that help to engage that conversation in a concise way? I clearly don't have that because I'm getting very wordy now, but if you've had experiences with that, that would be helpful to share.
Thank you so much, Megan. Please feel free to answer Megan's question in the chat if you have a response, as well as we're going to take Chris's comment. But if you have more to say, Chris's comment is going to be the last one. Please feel free to put it in the chat. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so something that we talked about in my group, Yvonne specifically, Megan is talking exactly what you were, and she was talking about how she teaches how to write an email, how to use it, and it leans on it pretty heavily for not just digital literacy instruction, but also to share resources, have students submit assignments to her. So regardless of the content, like maybe she's doing a grammar practice, but having done some of that teaching earlier on the digital literacy side, like how to use email, how to compose one, how to draft one, how to attach a file, then when they submit those assignments, and she can continue doing in this case, ESOL instruction. And I kind of jumped in there with her when she was talking and said that like that can be a really sly way to get students practicing digital literacy without them realizing it. It's like sometimes they get super freaked out. Like, I mean, I think probably have people all around who get freaked out by learning all these new technologies because they're coming at us so fast. Super reasonable and valid. And our students are not exempt from that. And so hitting them with like a really low stake tool that they can use, like Kahoot was something we talked about too. Super easy for students to use, relatively easy to make and use in class. Students are just interfacing with their phone or their tablet. Like that's a good way to get them practicing that digital literacy, but they don't know it because they're actually focused on the vocabulary words that they're looking on the screen, right? So they're doing, I think the example I used in our group was like grocery shopping vocabulary, but they're using that technology tool, right? Or if they've written sentences about going grocery shopping, they've written a paragraph and they submit that using an email with an attachment. They're practicing those skills without realizing it. And it kind of like takes that the effective filter off. So they're a bit more relaxed in class and can do it from there. So yeah, Megan, that was perfect. It's exactly what we talked about in our group.
Thank you so much, Chris. And thank you all for participating in that. I hope that you were able to learn a lot from each other and that you guys can put more in the chat. And I'm going to share kind of a bit of a summary of the chat. But I wanted to move on to our last speaker today. And that is, oh, can you guys see my PowerPoint? That is great. Okay, that is Jamie Harris, who is the Digital Skills Senior Technical Advisor for World Education. Jamie Harris is a Digital Skills Senior Technical Advisor at the EdTech Center of World Education. She works on national projects that draw on her strengths and experience in digital literacy instruction, English language acquisition, adult education teaching and professional development, and immigrant integration. She has worked in adult education with Title II AFFLA funding programs, intensive English university programs, and foreign language schools. Prior to her position at World Education, Ms. Harris was an adult education program specialist with the Maryland Department of Labor, and Jamie has completed a bachelor's degree in communication studies, a master's degree in education, as well as nonprofit leadership certificate programs. Welcome, Jamie. Thank you so much.
That is too long of an intro. But thank you. Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. I had another meeting before, so I did miss some of the content, but I heard you talking about integrating digital skills instruction into context. And I assume some of you are English language instructors and you know the impact of integrating language instruction into context that's important to our learners. And in the same way, when we talk about digital literacy, this is important. So I could talk about digital literacy for a very long time, but I was told I only have 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm just going to jump in. And I love when others are part of the conversation. So if you have anything in the chat, please share. I'm perfectly fine if this is a discussion. So I want to explain a little bit about World Education. We are a division of JSI, and we are a global nonprofit. I work in the US portfolio. So I get to do really cool projects. Most of my projects are funded by the US Department of Education, but there are other projects, like I work on a project with USCIS, National Immigration Forum, and other agencies, particularly focused on adult education. My heart is for English learners and immigrants, but I have had experience teaching in the high school equivalency classrooms as well. So the topic today, as you already know, is tackling digital literacy. And so the work that I get to do about digital literacy is very expansive, and I know I have a short period of time to talk about this. And what I want to do today is share some resources for you, whether you're a teacher in the classroom, or you're a program administrator, or you're responsible for PD. I tried to include different types of materials so that everyone here would have a resource that's helpful. So the 4 projects or initiatives I'm going to mention today are crowded learning, digital resilience in the American workforce, remote ESOL, which is like distance English for speakers of other language at a distance, and a digital literacy initiative. So I'm going to go through some resources that are hopefully helpful to you, no matter your role from these 4 initiatives, although World Ed has so much more. And I'll give you my contact information so that you can reach out if you have some questions. So let's jump in. I don't know if any of you have heard of crowded learning, but crowded learning is a part of World Ed, and it focuses a lot on open educational resources. For those of you who aren't familiar with open educational resources, it focuses on content that's open for all. So it's not behind a paywall. The resources that you get can be adapted to the learners that are going to use the resources. And so crowded learning provides a lot of content that are open educational resources. What I'd like to show you though, there's so much to crowded learning, but my understanding is there are some of you here who are English language teachers. There are some of you who may be in math. There's some of you who may be doing other content areas. And this resource, which I'm going to put in the chat, would be something you could take right now and use it in your classroom. So I'm just going to click here. Let me pick one. You see this financial literacy, there's staying healthy, there's an ESL story bank. So I'm going to click here so you can see a little bit of what it looks like. These resources are created by instructors. So I'll start with that. Teachers create these for teachers to use. They're free of charge. You don't have to pay for them, and they're adaptable. So if you have different levels of students, you can adapt the content to your classroom. You can see there are PDF lessons, there are activity collections, and a resource library. Here, let's click pre-beginning story bank. This is a project that happened where Literacy Minnesota had like just PDFs. And what was done by teachers is they took those PDFs and made those PDFs more interactive for teachers to use in the classroom. You can see that this one is a pre-beginning content area. And so I'm not going to dive deeply into a lot of these because I don't have a lot of time. But if any of these areas are of interest to you, I'm sorry, I'm going to go back. Marshall level reading, ESL story bank, math prep, digital skills library, staying healthy, or financial literacy, this is one resource that can be very helpful for you. The next one I'm going to point you to is the digital resilience in the American workforce. Someone just mentioned about language and learning digital literacy, even if someone's working on their L2, their second language. But when you teach digital literacy, you can teach things in their first language. And I want to point out a resource on this page called the Digital Skills Library. And this is pretty cool because it divides digital literacy skills into 10 different areas. We call them domains. And when you click in a domain, it provides multiple resources, student or teacher facing, to teach you how to do something. So for example, if you are teaching students how to use email, you could type email in the search bar, and I'm going to make this a little bigger. And it shows you all of these things that you can use to teach students how to use email. And you'll notice there's some Spanish here. How to send messages. There's English, there's Spanish. And if you have students within a certain language group, you'll notice here there are some other languages represented in these resources here. So if, for example, you're talking about the workplace and you're trying to teach your students how to write email in the workplace, you can use this resource to help teach them. There are videos, there are e-modules. It's a variety of different types of resources, articles, audio, games that you can use in the classroom to help teach digital skills and tackle digital literacy. I'm going really fast, Grace. Sorry, it's a lot of stuff to share. Okay. The other thing that I do want to share before I move to remote ESOL is this glossary. We assume that our students, Preston, well, it's available to you now. We sometimes assume that our students and our practitioners know the language of technology, and that's not a good thing to assume. When I work with my students, I still teach because I can't stop. And I teach them how to say their email. And my students right now are Spanish speakers. They're going to say Jamie harris@gmail.com, because they don't know what arroba is in English, which is the @ symbol. And so this digital skills glossary helps teachers, helps students understand the language of technology. I would say when you go to this site, and let me put this link here for you as well, that you go to the thematic slides that's over here on the right. And I say that just because there's an instructor section that has like lesson plans. You can do that. But I want to show this to you because, and this is part of the open educational resource crowded initiative that I had shared with you earlier. If you look at the screen, you see all these themes. So let's say you're talking with students about safety and security. All of these words are defined in these slides. I have tried to teach this in my classroom. I would not advise you to teach all of these words at the same time, because when you think about vocabulary instruction, you really shouldn't exceed too many words, but you can break it down. You could choose what you want to use. These slides are adaptable, so you can take out a couple slides if you want to spread it out over time. But each slide provides the vocabulary word. It has an audio sound of the word, the definition, and how to use it in a sentence. So this is something else that is very quick, and I'm going to close out of here, that you can use in the classroom now to help develop the vocabulary within technology and digital literacy. All right, so let me tell you how I got there, because I'm clicking like crazy and you're like, where are you clicking? When you go to the Digital Resilience in the Workforce project, and the link I gave you, or it's in the slide deck, gets to resources. If you scroll down, here is the digital skills library, and here is the digital skills glossary. And in case I did not add that link before, there it is. Okay, so I also want to show this resource to you as well. If you are a program administrator, this resource is helpful to you because this is research that was done to understand effective practices in provided English language instruction at a distance. There's a promising practices report here, and I'm going to copy this link and paste it here too. And this report for you as program administrators can help you not start from scratch. Why start from scratch in building distance learning for ESOL when research has been done and the resources are provided for you? So this resource can be for practitioner, like program directors, excuse me. And the last thing I'm going to share is a digital literacy initiative. This was done in Boston, but it's helpful broadly, and I'll tell you why. When we talk about digital literacy, everything I'm sharing with you is free. Everything's free. I like free. I get the privilege of working for an organization that believes in making these resources free of charge. So the Digital Literacy Initiative out of Boston highlights something that we at the EdTech Center believe in, and it is EdTech routines are very effective in building digital literacy skills. I want you to imagine that you are taking a class, your teacher tells you about a new technology on day 1, and then on day 2, they give you a different technology, and day 3, they give you a different technology. You're not going to learn it. It's too much. You don't give people an opportunity to explore and dive into the resource. So the idea is consistently over time, provide a routine to your learners so they can become more comfortable with that technology tool or the process of working with technology. And in that, they reduce the effort that it takes to engage with the technology. So EdTech routines are foundational to this, and I could talk about that for hours, but I don't have that opportunity here. But this resource, these Boston organizations created a library with a whole bunch of routines. So when you jump in there, you can look and see what's of interest to you. I'm going to click really quickly here. running out of time. If you look at the top right, you can see there's routines linked to assessment, gamification, learning software, spreadsheets, surveys, whatever is of interest to you. You don't have to build a routine from scratch. You can use a routine that has been provided for you. If you're a program administrator, they do have an assessment tool for you, like to identify the needs in your programs and create an action plan for the development of digital literacy in your program. So I tried to be quick. I think I met my time. This is my email information. And my name is Jamie Harris. I hope I get to talk to you all at some point. I have been at the conference a couple years, but please let me know if I can share any other resources with you.
Thank you so much, Jamie. That was so much information and free. So I know that that's like the favorite word. So I love that. Um, so we are running low on time. So I'm just going to move into some last minute announcements. But first, I want to say thank you to all of our speakers. Thank you so much. You provided such a wealth of knowledge. And thank you to you all for joining. I hope that you were able to learn a lot from this from this network meeting. The first announcement that I want to do is that we are excited to announce that we're going to have a new online community for the coalition coming up in 2025. It's a virtual hub hosted on Circle, and it is designed to help adult ESOL professionals in Montgomery County connect and share resources and grow their networks in a private interactive space. Before the launch, we are looking for beta testers to help shape the platform and provide feedback. So the ideal testers are ESOL program administrators, instructors, and tutors who can commit to engaging on the platform 3 to 4 times per week over 1 month. Whether you're new to online communities or a social media pro, your feedback is invaluable. And if you're interested in beta testing MCAEL's new virtual hub, please fill out the registration form, which will be in the chat. I think Tiffany or Kay are going to put that resource in. And the last thing is that I wanted to ask you all to please take a survey. That is also going to be in the chat. Please, it should only take about 5 minutes. Take the survey so that I can get some feedback on how you like this workshop, this network meeting, and what we could do to improve, what we need to continue doing. And with those announcements over, I'm gonna ask if anybody has any last minute questions. I see a hand raised. So
Thank you for organizing this. I did want to let you know, so again, I'm Mitzi Herrera and I run the county's Montgomery Connects Digital Equity Program. There are a lot of state grant opportunities that are coming up around digital equity, and we are trying to better understand the needs. So there will be a survey that's coming out in the next, we're probably going to wait and send it out the week after Thanksgiving. Every organization can do it, but basically we want to try to understand who's offering it, what are your priorities, what are your needs. So we'll kind of use it both to sort of understand where we are in the ecosystem in Montgomery County. And what we're also trying to do is some grants are focused on specific populations. So we want to understand who is serving those particular ones, because then as new things come out, we might come back around to say, okay, do you have any interest in participating in this and trying to move forward? So we're trying to also allow more organizations to participate in the grant process without having the time to kind of go through a formal RFP process. So we're just trying to gather that information together.
thank you so much. And if there's any links that you need me to share, please let me know.
Will do.
And I wanted to say that I will be sharing the PowerPoint that I use I'll really quickly share that I have already put a few resources. If you can see right here, there are a few resources that I put together that in combination with some of the resources that the speaker shared will be in the PowerPoint that I will send to you all later this week. I will also, the PowerPoint will also include the speaker's information as well as their PowerPoints as they share with me and a bit of a summary of the chat. So you will get this information and the recording. We recorded this as well, so you'll get the recording. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Thank you much.
Good to see
Thank you
everybody.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Take care. Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
Happy